Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 30th of January, 2024. Coming up on this Tuesday rant with the Krusty Neck podcast. Oh, yes, election reform. Yagmeet Singh and Prime Minister Trudeau in cahoots with getting something nasty done, and more military threats from certain commanders who just don't like it when men take out the tampons from the male washroom and toss them aside. Oh, those dirty, dirty buggers. All that more coming on the podcast. Please stick around. Listener discretion might be advised because I might swear. I might smoke a cigarette. I don't know. See you in a bit.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Krusty Canuck Podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Krusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode, the Tuesday Rant with yours truly, Krusty Canuck. I'm your host. Hope everyone had a good evening since the last 24 hours of my last episode. But like I said, I had some issues there on the Saturday. I just didn't really feel like doing because I was burying a comrade. Needless to say, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe, share this content all around. Thank you out there to everybody who applauded and saw my last episode, especially my new subscribers. So thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you greatly for your dedication and support too. So like I said, this episode's about the election reform that Yagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau are planning behind closed doors as we speak. Oh my goodness. What's it going to mean? I remember back in 2015, one of the campaign promises from Mr. Trudeau was the simple fact that we're going to have electoral reform. Fix things up so no more of this first past the post stuff. Give everyone a fair chance and all this good stuff. Now, have you seen the GTA voting base too? Some of those districts and lines and borders are put together for the sake of getting people into power, not for the sake of representation. Now, in theory, you could split the city up in a few different ways and make sure everybody gets a chance to vote. However, the denser the population in certain areas, the more votes are going to go to this guy or that gal or this gal or this guy, whatever. But we've seen the buffoonery that has been bestowed on us since the Liberals have gotten to power, and the buffoonery that happened almost 2 years ago now, or 2.5 years ago, when Yagmeet Singh signed an agreement with the Liberals to prop each other up during these difficult times, which basically meant holding on to their jobs, holding on to whatever power they have, just to keep themselves gainfully employed. And while they give themselves a pay raise come this 1st of April, effectively this 1st of April, we're going to get it up the chuff one more time. Yeah, I know it's not a laughing matter, but I just try to throw some laughter in there just to ease the BS that's coming. You already saw my other episode in regards to how much more money the average backbencher will be getting paid, plus how much more money the Prime Minister himself and other ministers will be getting paid too on a yearly basis. Now, once again, I don't care if you give to charity. I don't care how much you give here or you give there, put money away here, put money away there. It's too goddamn much. And you just got off of Christmas, which was roughly 6 weeks long. God, it must be nice to have a 6-week holiday. God, must be really nice. I haven't had a holiday in, ooh, shit. Getting on to 6 years now. At my job, I'm entitled to 2 weeks vacation. Okay, every year. That's great. But it's expensive. Okay, there's people I want to see in Ontario. I've got family, I got friends there too that I want to see and I want to hang out with and sit and have a beer in the deck and go swim in the lake and do some scuba diving, all that good stuff. And it gets pricey to do that, to fly there, to bring your gear there, to rent tanks, to get some beers, to get some groceries and hang out and just be a dude, right? It's expensive. And now when you hear these ass clowns who've got 6 weeks off for Christmas, plus a raise coming in the next 3 months, it makes you scratch your head, right? So I'm just going to cue up a little video from an individual. I forget his name, but I saw this in my Facebook feed today, and I thought it was really interesting, and I'll share this with you guys tonight for the Tuesday rant and what was really going on with this electoral reform thing. So just bear with me here, folks. It's just really interesting how some of these individuals are trying to do things on our behalf here. who are, sitting there saying they're helping us when the reality is they really don't care. Okay. So pay attention to this guy and listen to every word. It's about 10 minutes long. But he's got some valid points, right? And it just seems really, really dumbfounded how this government thinks we're really that stupid. That's just how they're rolling. They don't think of us as citizens. They don't think of us as, decent human beings. They just think of us as shitheads. So listen to what this guy has to say, and we'll go from there, folks. Adjust your audio accordingly too, if you need to. Now, it tells you right there, too, ladies and gentlemen, allowing voters to cast their ballots at any polling place within their riding and improving the mail-in ballot process with both accessibility and maintaining integrity in mind. Okay, so we've seen the fiasco that our American friends had to go through when it came to mail-in ballots down there. We've all seen the footage of certain postal workers or certain clerks tossing out boxes of ballots into the dumpster, right? What do you think is going to happen up here? Based on the poll information that's been going around Canada wide, how Poilievre's Conservatives are getting ahead, as well as how the Liberals are going down, and the NDP is going slightly down too. Anyway, I'll carry on. Yeah, special thank you to Miss Allison there for that video from Instagram. So you see what I mean? It's a big poop show, ladies and gentlemen. And we guess we got to bring our shovels because, we know what the government's up to and what they want to do and how they're going to do it, too. Wow.
Stay updated and follow Krusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at krustycanuck.ca.
And just a reminder, too, this podcast is brought to you in part and supported by the Veterans for Freedom Network. Stay tuned to your net in regards to the V4F We'll be starting a TV channel, and yours truly will be featured on there with many other veteran podcasters too. So once again, this podcast is brought to you in part and sponsored by, supported by the Veterans for Freedom Network. I'm your host, Krusty Canuck. Welcome back to the Tuesday Rant, ladies and gentlemen, episode 259 on beautiful YouTube and Rumble too. If you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe and share this content all over your social media platform. And I've had some trouble with my store links in my description. So if you watch my show and you click on the link to the Krusty Canuck gear shop, my customized girl, let me know if the link doesn't work. I've been playing email tag with that company all day, asking, how do I fix this? What's going on? Yada, 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 all the technical jargon. And I have no feedback yet. So maybe, I don't know, I might have to change brands, go to a different store to get some Krusty Canuck gear out to you all there. But needless to say, I will sort that out as soon as possible. So if you do click on the link in my description and nothing comes up or page not found, there is a gear store page. I don't know what the scoop is. You know, that's the direct link to my store. I've used it before from my end. I've had my wife do it. I've had my sisters do it. Everything's fine. I don't know what it is. But anyway, try again. If there is an issue, please don't hesitate to email me or let me know via the comments there too. Anyway, carrying on with this episode. Yes, electoral reform. So you've seen the buffoonery in there too. Now we've got some more military brass weighing in on the whole military tampon things. As apparently in some washrooms across Canada, especially on military bases, there have been men that have taken down the tampon machines outside the male washrooms and tossed them outside. There's a great story here by the True North Center, and I will read along for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite interesting how the brass in this country is worried about tampons and worried about inclusivity, yet we're sitting on the cusp of World War III, and yet all these senior officials spend more time worrying about their feelings than a few tampons in case there's a trans man out there who needs to plug things away. Anyway, this is from the fine people at True North. This is dated on the 26th, so it's a 4-day-old story, but I think you catch my drift. Canadian military commander demands soldiers support men's tampons for trans inclusion. Okay, Major. An internal Canadian Armed Forces communication shows a Toronto area commanding officer threatening soldiers who are caught throwing out tampons in the men's washroom with discipline and urging them to support the policy for the sake of transgender non-binary members of the forces. In the email leaked to the True North, the commanding officer of the 4 CDSG Greater Toronto Area Detachment, Major Robert P. Ryan complains that petty acts of protest go against Canadian Armed Forces policy. As first reported by True North as of December 15th, all federally regulated workplaces, including military bases, are required under the Canadian Labor Code to stock menstrual products in men's washrooms as a step towards promoting inclusion. Right. We have already had several instances where the menstrual products in the male washrooms have been maliciously thrown in the garbage, Ryan warned in an email to his regiment. The petty acts of protest are simply wasteful and not only costing the taxpayer money, wait for it, taxpayer money, as the items will need to be restocked. How dare you? Oh my goodness, the taxpayers' money. Ryan also is a member of the division's diversity awareness groups, specifically the Defense Advisory Group for Persons with Disabilities. Okay. According to the commanding officer, Canadian Armed Forces members are expected to fully support the policy as it promotes the inclusion of non-binary and transgender soldiers. You may disagree with the decision of the Government of Canada on this issue. However, as professional members of the defense team, you need to understand that you do not have a public opinion on government policy and are expected to fully support your fellow defense team members. We have members in the garrison who are non-binary or who have transitioned, wrote Ryan. Yeah, your actions are disrespectful to them, and I would ask you to consider that when you urge strikes, you throw these products out again. Take time to reflect on how your actions affect others and the cost of what will happen if you are caught. True North reached out to the Department of National Defense for comment and to ask what sort of punishment soldiers caught throwing out tampons received, but did not receive a response in time for publication. Since the policy was introduced, several bases have seen members throwing out products in the garbage. And that was from Cosmin D'Souza, journalist and senior research fellow from the True North Center. Great story, by the way. Great story. And really, what the hell does it matter? What does it matter? See, we're sitting on the cusp of World War III here. Okay. And I don't care what your background is, sir, major, captain, lieutenant, colonel. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your education is. Okay. Stop being a fucking politician. Start being a leader. That's for all the majors out there. That's for all the captains out there. That's all for the lieutenant colonels and colonels too. Take a bloody stand. Okay. We're sitting on the cusp of World War III here. Have you seen what's going on in Ukraine? Have you seen what's going on in Israel? Have you heard anything from China and Russia and other interests? Okay. Not to mention what's going on in Iran and Syria as we speak. And you're worried that a handful of people, non-binary or transgendered, might be offended? You're worried about the taxpayer dollars when it comes to free tampons and free menstrual products, but you're not worried about the taxpayers' dollars when we don't have enough men, enough personnel, fighting men and women to stand on the front line. You don't worry about the lack of equipment. You don't worry about the lack of bullets. You don't worry about the lack of training time. You don't worry about the logistics. You don't worry about procurement. But hey, well, there better be more tampons in the men's washroom. Outrage. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're going to end that gravy train right away.
Stay updated and follow Krusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at krustycanuck.ca.
From a first aid perspective, tampons can be effective for a sucking chest wound or certain wounds. Hey, they're great. But to sit there and to make such a big stink about it. Have you seen any military commercials on television lately promoting the armed forces? Have you seen any adverts, any flyers around, any posters, any billboards in any major cities advertising and looking to recruit people for today's armed forces? I remember 10 years ago when Stephen Harper was still in charge. Now, I'm not saying Harper was a savior, but a little more was getting done for our military at that time. Okay, a little more, not a great big deal, but a little more common sense was starting to seep through the woodwork here. But I remember the commercials, fight fear, fight this, fight with the Canadian forces. And I remember all the Jack Laytons out there and all the liberal diehards saying, oh my God, you're advertising aggression. I got news for some of you people out there. And I mean, you people that clench your pearls and sit around on your hands and wait for your coffee, wait for comfort. The military is an aggressive job. You have to be aggressive. You have to be mean. You have to be determined. Sometimes you got to be a prick to get things done. Sometimes you got to be a dick to get things done. Sometimes you work for good people. Sometimes you work for dicks. That's the way it goes. And if you're a young kid, can't figure out what you want to do with your life, hey, 3 years in the Army, 3 years in the Air Force, and 3 years in the Navy, hey, might give you something to do. Gives you some incentive to do something different or something better or to stay in. It's not a bad career, ladies and gentlemen. It's just you got too many brass that act like politicians rather than acting like leaders. Right? And what I just read to you, this major's outrage. Oh my God, the outcry. Can't have that kind of behavior. Where's your fucking leadership? So you want to keep people in. You want to retain more troops. Then you're not sweetening the pot at all. What incentive out there is for anybody? What incentive is out there for anyone to want to join our military now? Right? It's obvious. The only thing you care about is the inclusion mantra, the DEI model, diversity, inclusion, equity, right? That magic word, equity. How about proper equality? Equality of opportunity for everybody, and to stop tiptoeing around certain political issues. Stop tiptoeing around certain political issues because you want to get a few more brownie points on your personnel file. Okay. And firstly, if there's somebody disabled in the military, they probably got hurt in the job. So you got to find them something to do if they can stay in or not. Right? I hate to sound harsh, but there's a lot of people that got hurt in the job and they don't want to be in the military anymore. So you got to stop scraping the barrel to keep people in. Advertise the Canadian Armed Forces properly. Advertise the Army. Advertise the Air Force. Advertise the Navy. What's it going to take, though? It's going to take money and proper government involvement to procure these items, to keep things up and running, keep things up and going. Stop worrying about your procurement boards. Stop worrying about your bean counters. Start worrying about defending this country as our military should. Right? It's that simple. But of course, the simplest task becomes a real chore because you have to have the board to look at it, right? Oh, the board. What's the board going to say? Oh, what's the board going to do? Oh my God, we have board. Enough. Some people's kids.
Stay updated and follow Krusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at krustycanuck.ca.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 259 of the Krusty Canuck podcast, the Tuesday Rant. Like I said, I promised to do a Tuesday thing. I don't have a title card because I just get really tired of making them sometimes. You know what I mean? Needs to say, you know who I am. I've seen you. You've seen me. I showed you yours. You showed me mine. Whatever. Anyhow, I digress. If we're going to have leadership in this country, then let's have some real leaders. That Major, I don't think he's a leader. I think he's a follower. You know, I don't think he really cares about the welfare of the men and women that serve. Their biggest concern is the brownie points, getting enough, menstrual female hygiene products in males' washrooms because there might be somebody transitioning. Right? So you go to your way to make sure that those handful of people are comfortable, yet you won't go to your way to make sure that your platoon, your company, your battalion, your brigade, your battle group is good to go. But hey, here's some tampons. Like, those gestures alone are insulting to any serving member. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, and to anybody who wants to join. So in a way, you brass out there are making it really, really hard for a lot of Canucks to get along, to get in, and to serve this country. Okay? And it's safe to say that the Liberal government doesn't really care about the troops, doesn't care about the military. They'll send the military for the sake of showing up and for a parade to make everything look squeaky clean. But is it really? Look at some of the senior officials that are hanging on to their dear jobs for dear life, their pensions, their perks, just like the politicians. Something to think about, folks, especially coming to election time if it does come soon, right? I've heard the excuses from certain politicians. Well, my constituents don't want this and my constituents don't want that. Bullshit. Have you actually asked your constituents about the military? Have you actually taken questions and consider it? Maybe it's about time you should. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Krusty Canuck on this beautiful 30th of January, 2024. The weather is pretty good where I'm living right now. It's about +8 today. So a lot of snow and ice has melted, but don't get cocky. Like I said last night, don't get cocky. Keep your winter clothes on standby just in case, because, February in Alberta, you can get one hell of a blast of cold snap. And then for the next couple of weeks, you'll be, Arctic temperatures again. And you'll probably have more people out there trying to promote wind turbines and solar and say, stop using your pizza ovens and electricity. My God, you're hurting the atmosphere. Stop it. Stop it. Fuck it. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Krusty Canuck on this beautiful 30th of January, 2024. I'm back at work tomorrow, but I'm going to try to make some more episodes throughout the week for you. It might be a bit shorter, but I'm going to try to keep that up, get the rhythm going. And I want you to find people to consider donating to if you can. Every time you see my show, don't hesitate to toss me a couple of bucks. Like I said, I'm not going to demand it. Like I said last night, I'm not going to demand it. But if you want to donate, please donate. Links in the description. And I'll remind you too, if you click onto my shop link and nothing works, let me know right away, please. Send it in comments or send me via email. All my contact information is in my description. Right. And reminder too to all my subscribers, double check to see if you're still subscribed. A few of the people that I have talked to have said they were off the list. They resubscribed and they're off the list again. They had to resubscribe. So double check your subscription. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, comment, and like, and share this content all over your social media platforms. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Krusty Canuck on this beautiful end of January as we speak. I will try to come back this weekend if I can, if I have time to make another episode. There's a lot of creative process that's going on in my life right now. Like I said, I had business meeting last night, talking to people interested in my work and my co-writer's work. But needless to say, I'll keep you posted on that too. And do what you can. Help each other in these trying times. Keep your chin up. Just say due diligent because it's still wintertime out there. And do what you can to help each other out. And find the light in this manufactured darkness, always. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you sometime in the next few days. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Krusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Krusty Canuck podcast.
Oh, govern me harder, Daddy, please.